Hi, Silver Rain Runningcloud here. Well, look at that view, huh? I'm in Palm Springs, California. I was rescued from the FEMA camp in Houston. I tried to hide my social media past so that I wouldn't have a harder time than I'm going to have finding a place to live. But I couldn't even get to some of my accounts to delete them. So, so here I is. Um, I have so much to share with you, so much to talk about, to get you caught up on. I tried to erase my social media past so no one would know what I'm thinking and how much I've been suffering, so it wouldn't be so hard for me to find a place to rent because the Europeans pretty much own all the property and the foreign investors too. And I've been living in hotels. I've been living in hotels since I left Houston. You know, when I arrived, since I left Phoenix. When I arrived in Phoenix, my credit score was in the 700s. But after they finished sabotaging me with evictions and stealing my car and repossessing it, after they finished all of that malicious war activity on me, well, my credit's really destroyed. So I'm having a very hard time even applying for a place to live. But even if I could, the rents are over the amount of Social Security. So without my trust funds that Andre stole, I'm pretty much FUCK'd out here. But look how beautiful it is. Look how beautiful it is at this Motel 6. Now, in this particular hotel, I stayed in a different one when I was first rescued from Houston, the FEMA camp. I stayed in a nice hotel in Indio. Beautiful, had a little kitchenette. I couldn't believe that I was free walking the sky. But you know what's funny? What happens? What happens is that you start to take for granted. You just take for granted your liberty. You just take your liberty for granted. And it becomes just another, it's like you never lost it. You feel like you never lost it, and that's just how it feels. That's just how it feels. Anyway, the degrees are in the hundreds around here. We had a real cold day when I had to move from one hotel to another. Feels a lot safer. Of course, I had problems here. Um, I had a few problems. Because I made my reservation for 28 days, and when I called, the manager said that they don't do 28 days, they only do 21. California has a law or a policy that says you can only stay in a long-term hotel for 28 days so that you can't establish any squatters' rights or legal rights to the place. So every 28 days I have to leave. So the first 28 days I spent in a nice town south of Palm Springs called Indio. But I don't know, ever since Marilyn Monroe and Lucille Ball, and they really made Palm Springs, they put Palm Springs on the map for me. So I'm so excited just to be staying here at this motel. But because of that conflict, because of that attempt to cheat the system, I feel so happy that I used booking.com to make my reservation. I'm so glad that I used it, because when I got into a conflict with Motel 6, their own agents actually hung up the phone on me during the complaint process. And although they understood that they had sent me an email confirmation, oh my God, Foxy, he can't walk on this concrete. He got out of the room. He can't walk on this concrete. So even though they sent me an email contract, they were saying, well, it's only 21 days. And I just kept thinking, oh my God, what if I had come to the hotel to check in? And the guy, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but the hotel manager, what if he had told me then? I would have freaked out because I wouldn't have had anywhere to stay. And I would have been so vulnerable. I would have done just anything. And the person I was with would have been so embarrassed that he would have rushed things and said, oh, well, let's just try to pay. And I just don't have that much money. I can't afford to pay for things that, I plan ahead. So Booking.com were able to hold Motel 6 to their contract, whereas Motel 6 didn't. And they said, oh, we're a franchise and blah, blah, blah. And well, they got the person to submit to the contract we had. So thank God for Booking.com, but boo, boo, boo for Motel 6, which the OYO Hotel in Houston also used to be a Motel 6. And the chain is pretty much foreign owned. So there's been a big change in management, I guess. I don't really know, but I remember a long time ago when Motel 6 was first beginning, they had a terrible reputation for racism. Well, not so much anymore now, because it's one of the lowest priced alternatives to homelessness, long-term hotel living. There are a lot of non-Europeans living in a place like this, a lot of Black people, a lot of Spanish people living in a place like this, because we're pushed to the bottom, quite deliberately pushed to the bottom. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this part of the series. I'm going to be talking about how hard it is to find a place to live here. I'm going to be talking about the continuation of gang surveillance. I'm not exactly sure how they communicate with each other, but no matter what time I go out for a walk, I attract a crowd to watch me. No matter how deserted the street is that I'm on, even a cul-de-sac, people will come out to watch me. So in terms of an organized community watch machine, the Europeans have it down pat. They have a very organized community watch system where they're able to communicate in real time with each other. And they use lights, they use cars, they use people, they use bicycles. It's very sophisticated. So when you're trying to figure out, like, well, how did this happen? How did I lose my towns, but their towns continued to exist? But the towns my grandfather created died and are still dying because they won't let me access my land. Well, the way they keep their land is by being very militaristic at the civilian level. And I've seen it all across the country, and I was sad to see it here. The blinding headlights at 5 o'clock in the morning when I'm trying to walk my dog in peace. They're here just like they were in Phoenix, just like they were in Houston. They're here in Palm Springs, California. And they were in Indio too. I spent the first month in Indio, and that was very nice. I stayed at the Wood Spring Hotel, and it was just wonderful. They had a kitchenette. They had big windows. I could see the sky. I hadn't seen the sky in 18 months. I had barely spent any time seeing the sky in 18 months because every time I left that room, I got attacked. You might notice that some of my scars from the attacks are healing, in the sunshine. I won't stay in this direct sun too long. I'm just here to say hello, and I don't want to get depressed anymore today. I got enough depression looking for a place to stay today and on my walk this morning. And I was just starting to feel kind of good listening to Sergei Belikov in Russia, playing music and driving all through St. Petersburg. It's such a lovely place to go and party online, and I miss Dutch Sense so much. And Chavi Zane, I've been catching up with her, and Chiron Inspiration, and Krista Reza, and oh my goodness, Boyce Watkins, and I guess they're more. Oh yeah, Bill Mount. He's a pill. He's a real pill. But I've had a little time to catch up on my YouTube, and I just don't want to carry on too much right now. I just want you to know that I'm back and that I'm here in Palm Springs, and I still can't find a way to survive economically, and especially after the way the enemies of Americans compromised my credit history in Phoenix. So I'm going to go through, I don't want to go longer than a little while because my attention span is getting shorter and shorter. But thanks for being with me. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for, staying my fans. Thanks for holding on until I could get back online. I tried to hide. I tried to disappear. I tried to give this up so that I could live in peace. But I'm already declared a freedom fighter. I'm already declared a person that won't give up telling the truth about my experience, even though my experience is so embarrassing, because I did everything in my power to make sure I would not end up like this. But my enemies had a different plan for me. The people that wanted to own every square inch of America, every shoreline, every beach, every farm, well, they won everything in their battle against me. But if you don't know you're in a war, you don't know how to fight. And if you don't know what your enemies are using to kill you, then you just can't survive. So thank you so much. Please, subscribe. I know I won't be monetized because of my content. But, let me know you're out there. Let me know you're out there. Clap back. Clap back. And here I am in Palm Springs. Palm Springs, the Lucy Show. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, Marilyn Monroe. All right, darlings. Thank you so much for joining me. Goodbye.